Welcome, class. Today's math lesson is about multiplying fractions by fractions abstract. Abstract means without models or drawings or materials, so in that case it would be just using numbers, because of course we don't always have those materials and models to look at. So before we begin with a problem like this, let's take a look at some of the problems you worked on last week and see if you can notice or kind of figure out how this works or how to do this on your own. So in your math notebook, on your next clean page, go ahead and write down these words here. Multiply fractions by fractions abstract. Don't worry about those numbers. Multiply fractions by fractions abstract. Write that down on the top of your page. Pause if you need to. Okay. So here we see one of our models from last week. So go ahead and write this math problem down again. Write this down. 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/4. Write that down in your math notebook. Remember, we solved that last week by shading in 1/2, then shading in 1/2 to find 1/2 of 1/2. And we found that that was 1 out of 4 that was shaded in, or 1/4. Okay, right? You don't have to worry about the colors or the drawing today. Let's just focus on the numbers here. Write down 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/4. And what I'd like you to do is take a look at these three numbers, the numerator. Take a look at the numerator. If it's helpful, maybe just draw a couple little arrows, or you could even color them all the same color. What pattern do you notice about the numerator? What kind of math is being used for that? Let's do the same thing with the denominator. Take a look at the denominators. What do you notice about the denominators? How do you get from 2 and 2 to 4? Write that down in your math notebook, and I'd like you to answer the question, what pattern do you notice? When you're done with that, you can pause if you need to, obviously. When you're done with that, I move on here. Let's move on together. Let's do the same thing for our second problem here. We had 1/2 times 2/3. We shaded in 2/3 here. Then we've shaded in 1/2, and we found what is 1/2 of 2/3. That's what this green part represents. And let's do the same thing here. Notice I've colored the numerators red. What pattern do you notice with the numerators? How do I get from 1 and 2 to 2 for my answer? Take a look at the denominators. I shaded them blue. 2 and a 3 equals 6. What patterns do you notice? So in your math notebook, I'd like you to answer that question for both of these math problems, and then move on to the next part of the lesson.